Hey guys, my name is Yvette and welcome to my DIY channel, and I hope that you guys are having a great day. So I wanted to share two really easy air dry clay projects that I made, and these are really beginner friendly, so let's just get started. Okay guys, so our first project is going to be an air dry clay planter, and since we're working with air dry clay, you're going to want to use like a little container like this so that we can basically use it as a cover pot. And I got this from Dollar Tree. Roll out your clay, and I would suggest using DAS clay or creative paper clay for this project. So now that my clay's rolled out, I'm going to take my little container and I'm just going to cover it with the clay. Right here, make sure to really blend these two ends together because you don't want these to separate when it dries, and I would even suggest overlapping the clay. Now that I have the clay basically how I want it on the planter, I'm going to start smoothing everything out with some water in my hands. And you guys can also cover the bottom of the jar with clay if you want to, but I never like to do it. So I like how this looks, and I'm going to set this to the side for now. I'm going to do a checkered look for my planter, and I wanted to add some flowers like these designs here. So I sketched out a little flower, and I'm just going to trace this out on some clay. Make sure to blend these out with some water. Going back to my planter, I'm going to start sticking the flowers wherever I want. So now I'm going to let this dry for a few days.
2 hours later.
Here's the planter dry, and I'm going to sand a few places where I have a little bit of bumps. I'm going to start off by painting the planter the lightest of the two colors I'm using. Next, I'm going to start drawing on the lines for my planter, and I don't want my checkered planter to look perfect, so I'm going to make sure that these lines are like a little bit wonky, and I'm just using some rubber bands to help guide me. And so now I'm going to start painting in my other color. I'm gonna paint the flowers white. The last thing I'm going to do is seal this with Deco triple thick gloss glaze. Okay guys, so for our second project, we're going to be making a wall hanging. So you're going to want to trace out 3 circles and make one that's small, one medium, and one large. And I just used a teacup and 2 different plate sizes to do this. For the small and medium circle, fold them in half and then add these little dots that I'm adding because these are going to be our guide for the holes we're going to poke into these so that we can tie them together. For the large one, fold this one into fourths because this is going to help us find the middle spot, and then also draw a line down the middle because for this large one we're also going to be using it as a half circle. And then also don't forget to draw these little dots that I am for the holes. And this is how our half circle is going to look like. Roll out your clay and trace out your small circle. Don't forget to poke the little holes onto your clay before you remove the paper. Make sure to make your holes big enough to where you can put some jute cord through it and blend out any rough edges with some water. Trace out your medium circle, and my clay looks kind of weird just because I blended 2 clays together. They're the same brand, but I just ran out of the terracotta color and so I mixed it in with some white. Next, take your large circle, fold it in half, and trace out your half circle. Lastly, trace out your large circle. Make sure to poke a hole in the middle and then 2 on the ends for where we're going to hang these from. Take your medium paper circle and poke a hole in the middle of it and connect this to the hole that you poked in the middle of your large clay circle. And now the medium paper circle should be in the middle of the large clay circle, if that makes sense. And now trace out the medium circle, and sorry this went blurry. I ended up adding 11 holes to the bottom of this circle because I want to hang some macrame cord from these holes. Also, if you lift up your clay, make sure to be very careful because you could lose this perfectly circular shape. So for me, I'm going to let this dry on here for a few hours before I lift it. And this is silicone, so it'll be really easy to peel off. So make sure if you do this, make sure you're working on somewhere where you can let the clay harden for a little bit.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Here are my shapes dry, and on screen you guys can see two medium-sized circles, and I was going to use two medium ones, but then I decided the hanging looked better without one of them, so ignore it. Anyways, I'm going to sand them. I'm going to paint them a terracotta clay color. To seal these, I'm trying out Deco Art's matte varnish to see if I like this better than Mod Podge. Next, I'm going to take some macrame cord to loop onto my holes using the lark's head knot. The middle circle's cord was 16 inches long, and then I took an inch off every hole up, so it was 15, 14, 13, 12, and 11. And so now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. You can leave the macrame cord like this, but I'm going to comb it out. The last thing we gotta do is tie this all together, and you can tie this however you'd like. And I'm just gonna use one really long piece of jute cord to do this. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for more DIYs and stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!